Have you ever just stopped and realized how tired you are? Not just physically, but mentally, emotionally. You wake up with a racing mind. Your chest feels heavy even before the day begins. And somehow, you already feel behind, like you're running a race that no one even told you about. Take a deep breath. You're not the only one. Every single person you've ever seen, the confident ones, the calm ones, the successful ones, they all carry something invisible. A storm inside their head, a weight they can't always describe. But the truth is, we don't always realize how heavy it has become until we stop. Now, I want you to picture something. Imagine you're holding a glass of water. It's light at first, but if you keep holding it for a minute, it's fine. Hold it for an hour, your arm starts to ache. Hold it all day, it becomes unbearable. The weight of the glass never changed, but your ability to carry it did. That's how stress works. That's how anxiety works. You don't need to throw the glass away, you just need to put it down sometimes. We forget that the mind isn't built to stay in fight or flight forever. It's not supposed to be flooded with what-ifs and should-haves all the time. But in this world, where every screen screams for your attention, and every scroll shows someone doing better, and every thought says you're not enough, we keep holding that glass. And we call it normal. But maybe normal isn't healthy anymore. Most of our worries aren't about today. They're about tomorrow. They're about things that haven't even happened yet and may never happen. Your brain, believe it or not, is doing exactly what it evolved to do: protect you. It's trying to predict danger before it arrives. That's what kept early humans alive, when danger meant lions, cliffs, starvation. But today, the danger is rejection, failure, loneliness, disappointment. And your brain can't tell the difference. So it releases the same flood of chemicals, adrenaline, cortisol, as if you're running for your life when you're just checking your phone or reading an email. That's why sometimes, even in silence, you can't find peace. Your body is in the present, but your mind is stuck in the future. And here's the hardest truth. You can't control everything. You can plan, you can prepare, you can worry, but life will still surprise you. And sometimes, it'll be in ways you never imagined. But that's not a curse. It's part of what makes you human. The world doesn't need a perfect version of you. It needs a present one. Worry is control disguised as care. You think, if I just think about this enough, I'll find a solution. If I just analyze this from every angle, I'll prevent pain. But that's not how peace works. You don't think your way into peace. You release your way into it. The more you try to control every outcome, the tighter your grip becomes. And the tighter you grip, the more it hurts when life inevitably moves in its own direction. There's a saying, you can't calm the storm. So stop trying. What you can do is calm yourself. The storm will pass. This isn't weakness, it's wisdom. Letting go doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you stop suffering over what's already beyond your hands. The world is chaotic, but your peace, that's internal, and it's something you can protect. When was the last time you spoke kindly to yourself? Really, think about it. We are experts at being our own enemies. We replay mistakes. We label ourselves as lazy, unworthy, behind. We expect perfection and punish ourselves for being human. But if your best friend told you they were struggling, would you tell them they're useless? You'd tell them they're trying. You'd remind them of everything they've survived. So why not offer yourself the same compassion? Every single time you choose kindness over criticism, you rewire your brain. You build peace, neuron by neuron, and suddenly you begin to heal from within, not by forcing happiness, but by allowing softness. Because healing doesn't always mean smiling. Sometimes it means resting. Sometimes it means forgiving yourself for still learning. Most people think peace is something you find once life becomes perfect. But peace isn't the absence of problems. It's the ability to stay calm in their presence. You can spend your entire life chasing moments without noise, without bills, without deadlines, without pain. And by the time those moments come, you'll realize you missed your life waiting for it to start. Peace isn't out there. It's here, in this breath, in this second, even in your chaos. You've probably said it before. If I just finish this project, if I just make this much money, if I just fix this one thing, then I'll rest. But that then never comes, because the human mind always finds the next if. That's why real peace begins the moment you stop bargaining with your own happiness. Right now, in this exact second, you can decide that you're allowed to be okay, even while things are still messy. Your brain is like a crowded street, hundreds of thoughts yelling for your attention, regrets from the past, fears about the future, reminders, notifications, insecurities. Most people try to silence the noise by arguing with it, but that only feeds it. The trick is not to fight your thoughts, it's to watch them pass, like cars on that busy street. You don't have to stop every one, you just let them go. Mindfulness isn't about erasing thoughts, it's about changing your relationship with them. You become the observer, not the prisoner. Imagine this. You're sitting beside a river. Every thought that crosses your mind is a leaf floating by. Some are heavy, some beautiful, some painful. But you don't need to jump into the water and chase them. You just let them drift away. And the more you practice this, the quieter the mind becomes. So much of our stress doesn't come from what we want, but from what we think we should want. We live under invisible checklists written by others. Be successful by this age. Look a certain way. Be married, stable, strong, confident, happy, all at once. But who wrote those rules? And why do we treat them as law? Your life isn't late. You're not behind. You're just moving on your own timeline, and that's okay. Because peace doesn't come from meeting expectations. It comes from releasing them. You're not here to impress. You're here to exist, fully. Every time you compare your chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 20, you rob yourself of gratitude for where you already are. And gratitude, that's where peace begins. Close your eyes for a second. Think about the biggest thing you're worrying about right now. Maybe it's money. Maybe a mistake. Maybe someone's opinion. Now imagine this problem from the eyes of your 80-year-old self. Would it still matter? Would it still deserve all this energy? We magnify pain by proximity. When you zoom out, everything changes. There was once a monk who said, "When you hold a handful of salt in a small cup, the water tastes bitter. But when you pour that same salt into a lake, you can't taste it at all." Your suffering is the salt. Your perspective is the water. So the question is, how big is your lake? The wider your perspective, the smaller your worries become. You can't always remove the salt, but you can always expand your lake. We think life happens in big moments, the graduations, the jobs, the heartbreaks. But life actually happens in the pauses between them. It's in the moment your coffee warms your hands. It's in the laugh you didn't plan. It's in the silence before sleep when you finally exhale. The present is where life hides, quietly waiting for you to notice it. Anxiety pulls you into tomorrow. Regret drags you into yesterday. Peace only exists here. That's why meditation, nature, prayer, whatever helps you pause, they work, not because they fix the outside world, but because they bring you back to the only place you ever truly live, the now. Even if the world outside is on fire, The moment you return to your breath, you remember that inside, there's still space. You don't always need to fix everything. Sometimes things fall apart for a reason that you can't see yet. It's uncomfortable, especially when you're someone who always wants to help, to make it right. But sometimes, the kindest thing you can do for yourself is step back. Let things be messy. Let people think what they want. Let life unfold without your constant interference. You'll be amazed at how many problems solve themselves when you stop poking at them every minute. Because peace is not found in control, it's found in surrender. And surrender doesn't mean giving up. It means trusting that what's meant for you will always find you, even if it takes time. We often confuse stillness with weakness. But look at nature, the mountains, the ocean, the stars. They don't move fast, yet they hold immense power. Stillness is strength under control. It's the ability to feel chaos without becoming it. When you learn to sit with your discomfort, not run from it, not numb it, not fix it immediately, you begin to heal in the most natural way possible. Every time you choose stillness over reaction, you reclaim a piece of your peace. Let's be honest, life gets heavy sometimes. Not because of what actually happens, but because of the invisible weight we keep carrying inside our minds. That weight looks different for everyone. For some, it's guilt, things they said or didn't say. For others, it's fear of failing, of being alone, of disappointing someone. And for many, it's pressure to keep proving, performing, surviving. But if you look closely, most of that weight doesn't even belong to you anymore. It's borrowed. It's the opinions of others, the mistakes you've already learned from, the expectations society quietly whispered into your ear. You've carried it for so long that you've forgotten what it feels like to walk freely. So let's take a moment, right now, to set it down. Imagine all those thoughts sitting on your shoulders. Now picture yourself taking a slow breath in, and as you exhale, imagine letting that weight slide off, one layer at a time. You don't need to carry everything to prove that you're strong. Sometimes true strength is in putting the bag down and saying, I deserve peace too. We live in a world that glorifies hustle. If you're not working, improving, posting, earning, learning, achieving, you start to feel like you're falling behind. But the truth is, constant productivity is not the same as purpose. You can fill every minute of your day with useful tasks and still feel empty, because meaning doesn't come from motion, it comes from direction. Even a train that moves fast goes nowhere if it's on the wrong track. So take a breath. Ask yourself, am I busy or am I fulfilled? Am I rushing because I'm inspired or because I'm afraid to be still? Sometimes the most productive thing you can do is pause. Sit quietly. Let your mind rest long enough to hear what your heart has been trying to say. Because when you slow down, you don't fall behind. You actually start catching up to yourself. We scroll endlessly. Everyone seems to be doing better. They look happier, richer, fitter, more successful. And before you even realize it, your self-worth starts shrinking. But what you're comparing isn't even real. You're comparing your behind the scenes to their highlight reel. Their filtered smiles to your unfiltered pain. You can't see the nights they cried, the fears they hide, the doubts they carry, just like you do. Every person you envy is fighting a battle you'll never see, and every person who envies you doesn't see the battles you fight. So stop competing with illusions. If your life was meant to look like someone else's, it would have, but it doesn't, because you're not meant to copy. You're meant to create. The moment you stop measuring yourself by others, you'll realize you were never behind. You were just on your own path, all along. One of the biggest sources of worry is control. our desperate need to predict, plan, and protect against everything that could go wrong. We overthink, overanalyze, prepare, as if we can outsmart uncertainty. But here's the truth. No amount of planning can stop life from surprising you. And sometimes, those surprises are the very things that make you grow. Think back to something painful from your past, a heartbreak, a rejection, a failure. At that time, it felt unbearable. But looking back, can you see how it redirected you towards something better? That's the paradox of control. You only see the wisdom of life's timing once you stop fighting it. You don't need to control everything. You just need to trust that you'll handle it when it comes. Because you will. You always have. Worry often hides behind two small words. What if? What if I fail? What if they leave? What if I never make it? But notice, what if is always about something that hasn't even happened yet. You're suffering from a movie your mind is playing about a future that might never exist. When you catch yourself spiraling into those thoughts, pause. Ask, is this happening now? If not, then come back to this second, to this breath. The truth is, 90% of the things you've worried about in your life never happened. And the few that did, you survived them all. You're here, listening to this, proof that you've overcome everything you once thought you couldn't. That's why next time fear whispers, "What if you fail?" you can answer, "What if I fly?" Inside every one of us lives two voices. The first one, the critic, is loud, impatient, and cruel. It tells you you're not enough. It exaggerates your flaws and minimizes your wins. The second voice, the quiet one, is kind. It whispers when you're tired. It says, "You're doing your best." It reminds you of your worth, even when no one else does. But here's the problem. The more you listen to the loud one, the more silent the kind one becomes. You can't mute your inner critic completely, but you can turn down its volume by practicing compassion. When your mind says, "You messed up," try replying, "I learned something." When it says, "You're not enough," answer, "I'm growing." You wouldn't speak to a friend the way you speak to yourself.
So why not become your own friend too? That's how healing begins. Not when the pain ends, but when the way you speak to yourself changes. We often replay our past mistakes like old songs we can't stop listening to. We keep analyzing. What if I said this differently? What if I didn't do that? But you're not the same person who made those choices. You've learned, evolved, grown. Yet you keep punishing your present self for something your past self didn't know better about. You can't heal by rewriting history. You heal by forgiving it. Say it quietly, "I release what I cannot change." Let that become your mantra. Because carrying your past doesn't make you wise, it just makes you tired. The lessons you needed have already been learned. Now it's time to let the rest go. We often imagine strong people as those who never cry, never doubt, never break. But real strength isn't about never falling. It's about getting up every single time, even when you don't want to. It's about saying, "Yes, I'm tired, but I'm still here. Yes, I'm scared, but I'll try again." Strength is soft, not sharp. It's quiet, not loud. It's the gentle courage of showing up when life gives you every reason not to. If you're still moving, still trying, still hoping, even after everything, you're stronger than you think. Acceptance isn't the same as giving up. It's saying, "This is my reality right now, and I choose to find peace within it." You can't heal from something while you're busy wishing it didn't exist. When you accept life as it is, unpolished, unpredictable, imperfect, you give yourself permission to breathe again. You realize that joy doesn't only live in the good moments, it hides in the in-between. It blooms quietly even on difficult days. That's when life begins to feel lighter. Not because it changed, but because you did.
Every moment you spend worrying is a tax on your peace. It's like paying rent for a house you don't live in, one that exists only in your imagination. The human brain evolved to anticipate danger, to survive in a world full of wild predators and unpredictable threats. But now, that same mechanism runs wild in a modern world that rarely requires it. We no longer run from lions, but we run from thoughts. You might lie in bed, staring at the ceiling, replaying every conversation, every what if, every tiny mistake. You call it thinking, but most of the time it's suffering twice, once in imagination, once in reality. Worry tricks you into believing that by thinking harder, you can control the future. But the truth? The future doesn't care about your mental rehearsals. It will unfold anyway. What if you could redirect that energy, the same force you use to create anxiety, into something constructive? That's how people transform worry into wisdom. They don't escape fear, they use it. Let's make something clear. Worrying doesn't mean you're weak. It means you care. You care so deeply that your mind tries to protect you from every possible outcome. You've got a heart that feels too much and a brain that never stops scanning for danger. You start to build imaginary disasters, whole scenarios that never existed. You start believing your mind's stories as if they're breaking news. The truth is, most of your worries never happen. And the ones that do, you end up handling them better than you imagined. Think back. How many of your past worries turned out exactly as you feared? Probably none. Worry doesn't predict your future, it distorts your present. Scientists have found that anxiety triggers the same brain regions as physical pain. Your body literally hurts when your mind spirals. Cortisol, the stress hormone, floods your system, making your heart race, your stomach twist, your muscles tighten. You lose focus, you lose sleep, and slowly, you lose yourself. But here's what's equally true. Calm is a skill. Peace is not something you stumble upon, it's something you train your brain to find. Neuroscientists call this neuroplasticity, your brain's ability to rewire itself through repeated thoughts and actions. Every time you choose to pause instead of panic, you're literally reshaping your mind. Every time you choose gratitude over fear, you're changing your biology. You are not a victim of your thoughts. You are the sculptor of them. Here's a truth most people never realize. You can't control every thought that enters your mind, but you can control which ones you feed. Imagine your thoughts as birds. Some fly in, dark, noisy, chaotic. You can't stop them from coming, but you don't have to let them build a nest in your head. The key is awareness. The moment you notice your worry, you've already started freeing yourself from it. Take a breath. Literally, your breath is a bridge between chaos and calm. Inhale deeply. That's control returning to you. Exhale slowly. That's release. Do it again. That's your power switch. Don't underestimate it. Breathing sounds simple, but it's how you remind your body that you're safe. You are carrying too much, the opinions of others, the expectations of family, the fear of failure, the guilt of not being enough. But let me ask you, who told you that you had to carry all that? You were born light. You learned heaviness. At some point, someone told you that success means control, that love means perfection, that happiness means everything going your way. None of that is true. Life is not about control, it's about surrender. It's not about perfection, it's about connection. It's not about always winning, it's about always learning. And the sooner you realize this, the lighter you become. Imagine setting down one worry at a time, like stones you've carried in your backpack. What if I fail? Drop it. What will people think? Drop it. Am I doing enough? Drop it. Feel that? That's space. Everyone online seems to have it together. Careers, relationships, goals, confidence. You scroll and feel small. You compare your behind the scenes to their highlight reels. But here's something most won't tell you. They're worried too. Everyone is fighting a battle you can't see. The confident friend you admire? They doubt themselves every morning. The successful one, they panic about losing it all. The happy one, they hide the tears before posting a smile. You are not late. You are not lost. You are living, and life moves differently for everyone. There is no universal timeline. You're not supposed to be anywhere else. You're exactly where your growth is meant to happen. Gratitude. Not the kind you fake, but the kind you feel, the kind that slows time down. When you start focusing on what's still good, anxiety loses its grip. You realize that even if the world feels heavy, you still have a heartbeat. You still have people who care. You still have sunlight that finds your face in the morning. Gratitude doesn't erase pain. It balances it. It teaches you that joy and struggle can coexist. It reminds you that even when life isn't perfect, it's still precious. Here's a simple truth. You can't be grateful and anxious at the same time. So when worry whispers, answer it with thanks. Sometimes, no matter how much you breathe, journal, meditate, or affirm, the storm doesn't stop. And that's okay. You're not supposed to control the waves. You're supposed to learn how to float. Floating doesn't mean giving up. It means trusting that you won't drown. It's the calm confidence that says, this moment will pass, like all others. It's realizing that every difficult season eventually becomes a story you survived. And someday you'll look back and realize that the things that broke you also built you. You became gentler, wiser, more resilient, not despite the pain, but because of it. Have you ever zoomed out on a problem and realized how small it actually was? That's what perspective does. It shrinks your worries to their true size. From space, Earth looks peaceful. No wars, no deadlines, no heartbreaks. Just a glowing blue dot floating in infinity. The same problems that keep you up at night vanish from that view. That's the secret. Zoom out. Life isn't happening to you, it's happening through you. Every challenge is a message. Every delay, a redirection. Every ending, a beginning you can't see yet. At some point, peace stops being something you chase. It becomes something you carry. It's not about escaping chaos, it's about being calm within it. You start realizing that no one can disturb your peace unless you hand it to them. You learn to pause before reacting. You listen more, rush less. You stop needing everyone's approval because your own feels enough. You stop needing life to be perfect, and that's when it starts to feel beautiful. Every storm looks endless when you're inside it. The thunder feels louder, the rain feels heavier, and you start believing it will never stop. But it always does. Always. And when it does, the air smells cleaner, the sky looks brighter, and you realize you didn't just survive, you grew. That's the thing about pain. It doesn't just break you. It clears you. It makes space for better things, for deeper joy, for gratitude you couldn't have understood before. Sometimes you have to lose your balance to find your peace, so when you're in a storm, don't fight the rain. Stand still. Let it pass through you. Remind yourself, this is not forever. This is just now. Because now is temporary, but you are constant. When you're anxious, you think more. You analyze, plan, replay, question, as if more thinking will give you peace. But peace isn't a product of thinking, it's a product of presence. The mind that created your stress can't also create your calm. You need a pause, a moment where you step outside your thoughts. That pause might look like sitting in silence for 60 seconds. It might look like watching your breath, or even just saying to yourself, I am safe right now. Peace isn't something you find, it's something you return to. You were born peaceful. You just forgot. Here's a truth people don't often say out loud. You can't stop intrusive thoughts from showing up. But you can stop spiraling into them. Here's how. 1. Notice the worry. Don't judge it, just name it. I'm worrying. That alone breaks its spell. 2. Ground yourself in the present. Ask, what do I see? What do I hear? What can I touch? The present moment is an anchor. Use it. Third question the thought. Is it fact or fear? Most worries are what-ifs disguised as truths. 4. Redirect your focus. Move your body, change your environment, or do one small productive thing. 5. Talk kindly to yourself. You'd comfort a scared child. Do the same for your anxious self. Every time you choose calm over chaos, you're teaching your mind what safety feels like. Anxiety often hides behind the belief that you're not enough, not doing enough, not achieving enough, not being enough. But what if you already are? Think about it. You've made it through every difficult day so far, every heartbreak, every failure, every disappointment, and yet you're still here, breathing, trying. That's strength. That's resilience. You don't need to earn your worth by suffering less or achieving more. You were enough before you did anything. The problem isn't that you're not enough. It's that you forgot you are. So next time you feel anxious about not being good enough, remind yourself, I'm not behind. I'm not broken. I'm becoming. In a world obsessed with productivity, rest feels like guilt. But rest is not laziness. It's recovery. It's how your mind and soul catch up with your body. Some of the most peaceful people aren't the ones who do the most. They're the ones who know when to stop. Sit in silence for a while. Watch the sky change color. Listen to your own breathing. You'll notice something. Peace was never gone. You were just too busy to feel it. You don't have to fix everything today. You don't have to be okay right now. You just have to stop fighting yourself long enough to heal. Peace is a muscle. You build it by practicing it daily, not waiting for it to magically appear. Here's a powerful daily rhythm. Morning. Start your day with stillness. Don't check your phone right away. Sit for 2 minutes. Close your eyes and breathe. Ask, what's one thing I can be grateful for today? Daytime. Every few hours, pause. Drop your shoulders, unclench your jaw, and take a full breath. Tiny resets. Stop big breakdowns. Evening. Write down what went well today, even small things. Train your brain to see wins, not worries. Before bed, tell yourself, I did my best today. That's your permission to rest. Consistency rewires your mind for calm. It's not about perfection. It's about presence. When things go wrong, it's easy to think life is punishing you. But what if it's just redirecting you? Maybe that job rejection was protection. Maybe that breakup was redirection. Maybe that delay was alignment. The universe doesn't always give you what you want. It gives you what you need for your growth. And sometimes that means discomfort. Your struggles are not proof that you're unlucky. They're evidence that you're evolving. You're being sculpted by life itself into something wiser, stronger, calmer. Trust that process, even when it hurts. One of the biggest sources of anxiety is the illusion that you can control everything: the future, people, outcomes, emotions. But control is an illusion that drains you. You can influence things, yes. You can prepare, plan, and act. But the rest? It's not yours to hold. The truth is, the more you try to control life, the more life controls you. The moment you let go, you gain freedom. Peace comes when you say, I'll do my best, and let the rest unfold. It's not giving up, it's growing up. Some days you'll feel calm and clear. Other days, worry will knock again. That's normal. Healing doesn't mean you'll never feel anxious again. It means you'll recognize it faster, respond gentler, and recover sooner. Progress is not a straight line. It's a dance. Forward, back, stumble, rise again. Don't measure your growth by how little you worry, but by how quickly you return to peace after you do. You're not failing. You're healing. We often look for comfort in others, a friend, a parent, a partner. But the most lasting peace comes when you become your own safe place, when you can sit with your fear and still feel loved, when you can cry and not see it as weakness, when you can be alone and not feel empty. That's emotional maturity, not the absence of pain, but the ability to hold yourself through it. You don't need to be fearless. You just need to be gentle with yourself while afraid. We rush everything: conversations, decisions, healing, even happiness. But peace lives in slowness. When you slow down, you notice the little things: the sound of rain, the warmth of tea, the comfort of your own breath. You start realizing that happiness doesn't hide in grand achievements, it lives quietly in ordinary moments. If you want less anxiety, live slower. If you want more joy, notice more. If you want peace, stop running from now. Forgive yourself for worrying too much, for trusting the wrong people, for not being perfect, for taking longer to heal. You did what you could with what you knew. That's all any human can do. Every version of you, even the anxious one, the scared one, the tired one, deserves kindness. Because every version of you was just trying to survive. So forgive yourself. Then watch how light you become. One day, you'll look back and see how much time you spent worrying about things that never mattered. And you'll wish you had loved yourself more in those moments. You'll realize that peace was never found in a perfect future, but in your ability to be fully alive right now, even in the middle of uncertainty. Because this messy, unpredictable, beautiful moment is all you ever really have. So take a deep breath. Feel it. You're here. You're safe. You're enough. And that's a reason to stop worrying. But peace lives in slowness. When you slow down, you notice the little things: the sound of rain, the warmth of tea, the comfort of your own breath. You start realizing that happiness doesn't hide in grand achievements. It lives quietly in ordinary moments. If you want less anxiety, live slower. If you want more joy, notice more. If you want peace, stop running from now. Forgive yourself for worrying too much, for trusting the wrong people, for not being perfect, for taking longer to heal. You did what you could with what you knew. That's all any human can do. Every version of you, even the anxious one, the scared one, the tired one, deserves kindness, because every version of you was just trying to survive. So forgive yourself. Then watch how light you become.